Hey everyone, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we are going to be building in the world of Newcrest, which is one of the base game worlds. And we're building another tiny house today for our Every Tiny House is a Different Career series that I've kind of been working on. And I do hope you guys enjoy it as always. But today we're going to be working on a gardening career tiny house. So I believe the gardening career came with the seasons pack. And you have two options. I think that's true for all the careers in the game, but with the gardening career, you can either choose to go into floral design or you can choose to be a botanist. And that is the tiny house that we're working on today, is for a sim that has joined the botanist section of the gardening career. And so this house is specifically designed just to represent that career. It's not got anything super special other than that, so there's not a lot of personality to it, and that's basically every decision I made about this house was just how it related to that career. It does have everything you need, of course, like a bathroom and a bedroom and a kitchen, which doesn't really relate to the career, but all of that stuff is in there, of course, so this can be a functioning house. But mainly it just is supposed to represent the career, and so this is a little bit of an odd house, as you guys have already seen from the thumbnail. I really like it. I kind of like really whimsical houses and different kind of builds like that. And so hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. But before we get too much further, I will go on and put the picture that inspired this build up on the screen where you guys can see it as well. As usual, I did find it on Pinterest. I believe it was originally pinned by ArtStation, but that's really all I know about this pin, and it's very cute and I just really like the way it looked. Although, as you guys have already seen the house finished in the thumbnail, it doesn't really look like the inspiration picture. But I really liked the ideal of working a watering can into this build. And I thought about just following along with the inspiration picture and kind of trying to recreate that because, of course, it's a beautiful concept. But then I was kind of thinking, what if I can make it look like the watering can is kind of spilling over and pouring water out into a pond and kind of make a water feature like that? And I got really excited. And so I grabbed the little waterfall that we got from the Island Living Pack. I think it's in the live edit menu, so I grabbed that out. But the only problem with that particular object is that it's very large, as you guys can see. We are building on a 30 by 20 lot today. I didn't tell you guys that, but that's where we're building. So the lot is very small and the waterfall is very big. And the other thing about the waterfall object is that it doesn't size down like other objects do. We can usually size objects up or down, make them a little bit smaller, or maybe a little bit bigger. And the tool mod actually gives you even more abilities to do that. But with the waterfall object, I don't think there's any way to actually make it smaller. You can attempt to size it down, but it doesn't actually change the size of what you see visually. It kind of changes the grid that you see in build mode, but it doesn't really change the actual size of the object. So I had to kind of work with the size of it and just kind of work it into the house. So I'm not really sure how it looks in the end because it's definitely oversized. I wish it had been just a little bit smaller, because I'm honestly not sure how much it actually looks like this water is coming from the watering can. Now, right before I finished up this build and saved it to the gallery, I did move the watering can into the water just a little bit more so that I don't know what you would call it, but so that the little part that actually pours the water out, it actually looks like it's more submerged in the water. So I was hoping that that helped a little bit with the effect, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think because I'm not sure how it looks, but I still really like the kind of whimsical look about it. It's different and I still thought it was really fun, so I decided to keep it. I thought it was a really fun way to represent the career, I guess is what I mean. And I do have some ideals for the floral designer segment of the career as well. We'll do that with another tiny house. I decided just to do them different instead of lumping them together because I just thought that was more fun. But anyway, this probably would have been a good career to just do them both at the same time. But I did see a couple other pictures that I really wanted to possibly try out for the floral designer part of the career. So we'll do that another day. But hopefully the watering can looks okay. I mean, like I said, does it look realistic? Definitely not. But hopefully you guys can kind of see what I was going for there. But I thought it was a really cool feature and it kind of fits in with the gardening theme. So I thought that was nice. Also, I'm not building on the 20 by 15 lot. Like I mentioned, this is 30 by 20. So I had a little bit more space to fill up. And I'm actually really glad that I used that much space for the water feature because there's only so many garden planter boxes that you can put down. And I kind of already felt like it was excessive in the end. I think that's one of the last things that I do besides the interior is work on the actual gardening area for this house. But I mean, you know, no sim needs like 50 of them on the lot. Surely at a certain point, your sims would get tired of gardening, but there is plenty of gardening options. When we get to that, you guys will see. As for the exterior of the house, I did take some elements from the inspiration picture, but like I said, it doesn't really look like that. I don't think you would look at that picture and think of this house. And so really it was the watering can that I kind of took from that. But I did take a little bit of inspiration from the stone flooring and some of the walls and stuff like that. And I just really like the way it looks. And I kind of just went with a really earthy kind of woodsy theme with this. And I did use the roofing pattern that we got with the Island Living pack, so it's a little bit out of place, but I do feel like it really went with the earthy tones of the build, and I really like the natural look about it, so I just kept it in. And then on the exterior, I used one of those little hedges. I can never remember what it's called, but it's one of the activities that your Sims can go out there and they can shape that little hedge. I don't know what it's called. I'm so sorry. I'm going completely blank on that. But I used one of those because your Sims can get some gardening skill. I don't think it's a lot. It's probably really not worth it, but you know, it adds some decoration to the house, so it's fine. And I put a ton of plants all around the windows and all around the house. I'm going to go back and add some more plants and flowers up on the second floor that you guys can kind of see the dirt flooring that I used. So we're going to cover that up. It doesn't stay that way. And I did use some debug fences to go around the second floor on the exterior as well, just to make it look a little bit rustic. I don't know, I really like those little fences. I like how some of them are broken and they're kind of hanging around all different ways, and I just really like the way that looked. So I kind of used that for the fencing instead of what was in the inspiration picture. I just really like the way that looked. And I think most of the doors actually are from the base game, but I did use the windows that are from the Get Together pack. I really like the little stone look about them, and I think they fit in with the house really, really well. But also, one of the rewards that you get with this career, with the gardening career, is you get the telescope. This actually might be specific to the botanist part of the career as well, but you do get the... No, it's not the telescope. What is it? It's the microscope. You get a microscope, and so you can check out the plant samples and you can get the artwork and stuff that you get from that. And like the original telescope that we had in the game, we do have that new smaller one, but the microscope is a really, really big object. And so I ended up placing it outside because this is a tier 2 tiny home. I wanted to make sure to keep it tier 2, and there is no space for that on the interior. So I did have to put the microscope on the exterior of the build, which you guys could probably see from the thumbnail, but you'll see it here in a minute as well on the exterior. And I grabbed one of the awning things that I think is from the debug or live edit menu. I grabbed one of those that I think is also from the Get Together pack, but I'm not sure about that. But I feel like it kind of helped to make it look a little bit better on the exterior because it's just such an odd object. And so I feel like it kind of covered it up a little bit, made it look maybe a little bit more natural in the space. But I did want to include that because I think that's a big part of the career. And also, when you do choose the botany career, you do also need logic skill, where you don't need that before you actually make that choice. And I don't think you need it as a floral designer, but you do need some logic skill with this particular career. So I included a chess table out on that second floor. And I also included one of the littler telescopes because, you know, we definitely didn't need the big one when we also have this microscope out as well. But I did include one of the little telescopes and just different stuff that would raise your Sims logic. I think I included some of the logic books maybe around as well in the interior of the house. But this is the area that has the microscope. It's totally functional, but I think it kind of blends in a little bit. It looks better than it would have if I had just chucked it out there. Hopefully it looks a little bit better. But I did want to include it because I think it is part of the career. I didn't actually play through the career. I've never actually played through the gardening career. I did kind of go through and see what the career rewards were and the requirements and stuff like that just for this build. But back when I used to garden a lot, when I was actually playing, I didn't have the seasons pack, and so there was no gardening career. So it was just something that you do on your own time, which honestly, I think I kind of prefer. I mean, let me know if you guys have played through with the gardening career. Which do you prefer? Just making your own money and not having to go to work? or actually having the career and the rewards and the, I guess, the hourly money that you get with it. I don't know. I feel like I would prefer my Sims have as much freedom as possible and not actually have to go to work, and they could just garden from home. But like I said, I've never actually played through the career, so it might be more fun than I think it is. But getting back to the build, you do also get a cowplant berry at some point as a reward for this particular part of the career. Maybe it's just for gardening, I'm not sure, but you get a cowplant berry. So I did include a little tiny area for a cowplant, and I went on and planted everything as well. So if you guys do get this off the gallery, as always, just feel free to delete anything that you don't want. Or if you want your Sims to start fresh, just delete all of the plants that I've already laid down. Like, you don't have to keep that, you guys know that. But I did go on and put that cowplant berry down and plant it. And what I did also, because I wanted to put it in one of the little planter boxes, but it wouldn't grab onto it, so I'm assuming that you're not actually supposed to plant that in a planter box. So I actually went and put the little tiny circular planter box, because that's the one I wanted to use. I went and put that in the basement and lifted it up with the tool mod so that it wouldn't actually interfere with functionality. So now your Sims can interact with the cow plant, and I guess it's technically planted in the dirt, but you can see the little decorative planter box, and I preferred the way that looked. So that's what I did with that little area. And then the area on the other side of the house, as you guys can see, is where the actual main garden is. So I think I ended up with maybe 7 planter boxes, and it's the really big ones as well. And then I placed a few of the smaller ones for trees and stuff, but there's plenty of areas for your Sims to plant. Of course, you guys can add more if you feel like you needed more, but like I said, I wasn't sure how much planting most gardeners do. I mean, at a certain point you do want to go do something else, so I felt like that was enough planter boxes, and it was gonna just start looking a little bit crowded if I had added more. But if you guys do get this off the gallery, feel free to change it any way you want. Also, I have play tested this as always, and everything was functional, or if it wasn't functional, I did change it and fix it to where it is functional now. And I actually think the only real problem that I had was up on the second floor. I had used some decorative fence posts to kind of frame that door. I didn't want to use the columns because, as you guys know, when you place a column, it does grab onto the grid and you can't place that freely, even if you're using move objects. Now, you can move the columns with the tool mod, but I don't know why. I can't really remember, but I don't like doing that. I do remember that I don't like it. And so I had placed these decorative fence posts from the live edit menu, and they were messing with functionality, which honestly, I kind of expected that. And so when I play tested, I had to kind of change that around. I ended up placing the fence post up on the 3rd floor. So if you have the house all the way up, if you have all the walls up and all the floors up, then you can see the fence post, and they don't mess with functionality. But if you have it down on the 2nd floor so you can't see the roof, then I went and grabbed this object I'm pretty sure is from the Get Together pack, and I kind of used that to frame the door for that particular instance, because you're going to be playing with the roof down, of course, if you're actually using this house. And that object does not mess with functionality, but it still looks decent. And then when you have all the walls up, then you can see the actual decorative piece, and it doesn't mess with functionality. Hopefully that makes sense and you guys know what I'm talking about. I always say that I'm terrible at explaining things, but yeah, I just really liked the fence post, but they were keeping Johnny Zest from being able to walk out the door, so we had to fix that. But in the interior of the house, I managed to get a kitchen, a living space, a full bathroom, and a bedroom with a double bed, so this house can live up to 2 Sims. And I was kind of surprised at how much space we had in the interior of this house. I really thought it was going to be a lot less because the mixologist house was so tiny. And so this is also a tier 2 tiny house. And so I really felt like I wasn't going to have a lot of space. But I think there's a pretty good amount of space in there, honestly. I feel like it's a pretty good sized house. And the kitchen has a full dining table and everything. I did include some of those microscope prints as well, because I think there's 3 of them that you get as a career reward. So I just included those in the house, and it made artwork so much easier, and I loved that. This may seem weird, but the one that's actually hanging over the couch in the living room, that big, massive green microscope print, I don't know what else to call it, but I actually really like that painting just in general. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the color that I like or what, but I've always kind of liked that one. So I really like the way it looked. The interior is kind of brown and green. As you guys can see, I used a lot of greens And it was a while ago that I actually built a gardener's home in Windenburg, I believe, and I was talking about how we don't have a lot of good green options for wallpaper. Like, they're mostly really light colored greens or like a minty green, and I was kind of mentioning that I wish that we had some darker greens and that I didn't really like the options we had. But then I found the one that I used in the living room and the kitchen, and I cannot remember what it's called, so I can't tell you guys. If I use it again, I'll try to pay attention. But I want to think it's kind of in the area where you see the stone wallpaper and the plaster. I don't feel like it's in the paint category, which is where I was looking for that other house. But I finally found a green wallpaper that I like, basically, is the point of that story. But I did use that in several places in the house just to tie in with the kind of green theme, gardening theme. And I just really like that wallpaper. So I think I found a new favorite kind of darker green wallpaper. So you guys may be seeing me use that a whole lot because I really like it. And the bedroom really doesn't have that much in it. I think I put one wardrobe in it and a mirror. But that's pretty much it for this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments because I always love hearing from you guys. And as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today during this speed build. I hope you all are doing really, really well. And hopefully I will talk to you guys soon with another speed build.